Hey guys, thanks for taking a few minutes. Coach here. Hey, over the years, I have been summoned to, hundreds of people's homes over the years. And the purpose of that summoning is to discuss things like design work, landscape construction, or just basic consultation on landscape problems. Just like the movie and Show Me the Money, Jerry Maguire was the master of the kitchen table discussion. And I kind of identify with that in a totally different aspect. I used to really like sitting down with people at their kitchen tables and discussing stuff. And most of the time in that initial conversation, I didn't do a lot of talking. I prompted a little bit, but I kind of did a lot more listening. And most of the time conversations would go kind of like this. It would start out going, oh, thank you for calling us back. Thanks for being on time. Come on in. Can we have something, do you want something to drink? That's usually how it started out. And then we get off into the discussion of how long they've been there, where they moved from, what they do for livings, that kind of conversation. And everything would go super well. Then we got into the business aspect of the conversation. And when I talk about the business aspect, it was the money aspect. And you would watch these people, 95% of them, they'd be all corners up type of thing. And then you start talking money, and all of a sudden the worry lines would come down, and all of a sudden the smiles would go away. And it was almost like I was like reaching into their back pocket and pulling money out of their wallet already. And it was always kind of a phenomenon, and after a while I kind of expected it. But today we're talking about just that. We're talking about the almighty dollar, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about landscape costs, some of the frustrations that go along with it, and some of the solutions that'll help you out. I'm glad you're here. My name is Matt. You can call me Coach. And so, Maestro, can you please get us started today? Thank you very little. Once again, hey, I'm Matt. You can call me Coach. Every week, every Friday, I bring to you landscape design concepts, theories, shortcuts, tips and tricks, and that kind of stuff to allow you to get the education you need so you can take on a landscape project yourself, get the professional results you want and need, be a heck of a lot more self-reliant in this day and age, and in the process, save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars. After a 20-plus year career in the green industry, both as a retail nursery manager, landscape designer, contractor, and college-educated in ornamental horticulture, I know that I bring a lot of experience and knowledge to this channel for you, the new, modern, self-reliant homeowner of today. Okay, for some of you, maybe it's your first house. For some of you, maybe it's your second house. Maybe it's a brand new home that has absolutely nothing in the form of landscaping, except maybe a front yard that the builder has landscaped for you. But the backyard, hey, it's a slice of heaven, but it's nothing but dirt. Now, for some of you who've bought an existing home, maybe you've bought it because it had a beautiful kitchen and a soaking tub in the master bedroom. But that backyard is an absolute nightmare, and you're going to have to address it. And for your own comfort, maybe your own safety, maybe a place for the kids to play, right? But now you're faced with another angle. You're faced with the almighty angle of how in the Sam hell are we going to pay for this? We just chunked down a huge down payment on this house. We have a mortgage that is like just above the national debt every month, and it's going to be kind of hard to come up with thousands or tens of thousands to redo this thing properly. Doing a little research and a little study up for this particular video, I looked and found that the average cost of a residential backyard landscape or front yard landscape is between $8,000 and $12,000. And if you have a backyard and a front yard, you can basically double it or more. And you know something? That's just for the basic stuff. That's for some grass, maybe some cement, maybe plantings and a few trees, and call it freaking good. But it does not cover, guys, it doesn't cover all the time irrigation, drainage, involved patios, you know, like stamped patio. It certainly doesn't cover anything like water features, vegetable beds, kids play area, dog run, patio covers, all of those things. When you get into those luxury items, then you're going to see the cost rise substantially. And it's understandable, right? I mean, there's more design to be involved in, there's more work to be involved in, more materials to be involved in, and more labor. So it's obviously going to cost more. So I've had backyard projects, the basic ones, when I was doing them in Northern California. They already had a patio and they had walkways. And then the cheapest one I ever did was about $6,300 plus or minus. It's been a little while. Probably $6,300. And that got them lawn, trees, plants, shrubs, and a drip irrigation system. That was it. But why does it cost so darn much? If you think about it, just running a business nowadays, everything that it takes to run a business for a licensed, bonded, and insured and educated contractor, my gosh, you know, you've got licensing, you've got materials, you have maybe a person or two working for them, you have vehicles and fuel and maintenance and a place to run a business out of. All of these things are factored in when you hire a contractor. So in the end, it's quite a chunk of change, is it? I've seen landscapes that are bare bones, and I've seen some really fancy ones that I've put in. And they're basically the cost of redoing a whole kitchen, or more sometimes, depending on the levels. Quite a chunk of change. So how are a lot of people affording these kinds of things? I wanted to share with you just a few avenues of financing that I have seen clients of mine come up with and use in order to afford what they want. Take a look at these. How about the old family money loan? I've seen several of those over the years. People have a mom and dad or a grandparent or a rich uncle or something, and they either have money bestowed upon them or it is loaned to them, one or the other. Family money is kind of pretty common in a lot of ways. And for some of those lucky people, there is financing of landscape projects completely out of their own personal savings. Maybe you have 2 incomes, pretty good jobs, maybe $100,000 a year for each parent or husband, wife, and they've been chunking away money in preparation of getting this nice house and then affording some of the other things that go on inside and outside. So they have it. Pretty lucky folks, right? That was not the case with me, especially early on in my adult years. Another one that I've seen is a second mortgage. You know, you bought your house for $200,000, and in a matter of 6 months, you know, the development has built out. You bought in phase 1, it's now in phase 3, and now your house is worth $230,000. I use these numbers just randomly, not anything particular, because Lord knows where I came from, a lot more than $230,000. Oftentimes that was a down payment on a lot of houses. But a second mortgage, you know, you go and you borrow against the equity that you have, and you create a second mortgage, and that's how you pay for it. Another one is a Heloc, and if you're not familiar with what a Heloc is, it's a home equity line of credit, where you borrow against the equity in your house in a more of a short-term basis, and then as you borrow, then you start making payments. If you don't have any loan against your equity, then you don't make any payments. So you got a $200,000 home, you find out that your house is valued at $215,000, and you need to put in a $10,000 backyard. Well, there you go. You go down, you sign up for a Heloc, and you're given a checkbook. At least this is how it used to be. Probably now you just have a card, and you borrow against it. So you take out $10,000, and all of a sudden you have a second payment every month. But you have a nice new backyard. I have seen people use credit cards. I have seen people take 3 credit cards and take cash advances on them and have $12,000 landscape put in. Then they go out and finance a second mortgage, and they pay off the credit card so they don't have huge interest payments. And oftentimes these credit cards go towards rewards, so then they're able to go fly to a family reunion or something on the rewards. So that's another option. The other one I've seen is the old second job. I had a couple in Northern California. They literally went out and got second jobs and worked every Saturday and Sunday. They worked Monday through Friday. Then for 2 years, they worked Saturday and Sunday, 4 hours a day, and just salted that away as the project. You know, they took a loan out, and then they went out and got a second job in order to finance a backyard. Now, that is some determined individuals that go do that. 7 days a week they're working, 4 hours a day in order to pay for grass and cement. But it worked for them. It would not work for me, but it did work for them. And they were nice people, hard workers, obviously. Lastly, I've had a half a dozen people or so that have fallen into the almighty inheritance. And the almighty inheritance is just what it says. You know, grandma or grandpa died, they had some money, you know, bestowed upon them, and they used the inheritance to finance this particular project. And I've seen them use it for landscaping, then I've seen them redo a kitchen at the same time, which I don't suggest, generally one project at a time. And there you go, there's some financing. So say for instance you're financially stressed, and maybe those options we just covered, you're stretched. You're stretched. You got some money, but you're not going to be able to, you don't have a rich uncle that's going to give you money. No one's died, so you're not going to inherit money. You really haven't gained that much equity, so the Heloc and second mortgage and other things aren't going to really work. So how do you do it? Well, some people basically cheat, and they feel that they can't afford somebody like me, someone who's gone out and got some education underneath them. They have experience, they have some creativity, they have something of a brain so they can think their way through projects. Some people go out and hire the mow and blow guy. Now, don't get me wrong, what I'm going to tell you here is not, I'm not here to defame anybody. I'm just here to show you what I have seen and the results of what I have seen. So someone goes out and gets the guy that pushes the mower around the neighborhood and blows off driveways and stuff, and goes, hey, can you landscape my backyard? And the guy goes, hell yeah, I can landscape your backyard, no problem. Well, you know, I got this guy, Matt, he gave me a $12,000 estimate. How much do you think you can do it for? Well, let me take a swag, you know, at it. I can do it for $5,800. $5,800, fantastic. When can you start? Well, if you don't mind, I'll work a little bit after my work every day, and then I'll work on Saturday and Sunday, and I can have it in for you in maybe, I don't know, a couple of months. And they go, sounds good to us. Look how much money we're going to save. So this guy shows up, or maybe it's the tree guy. You know, you had a tree removed when you moved in, and they said, hey, do you know any good landscapers around? No, I don't, but you know, I know something about landscaping. I can do it for you. Really? How much will it cost? I don't know. Well, it's certainly not going to cost $12,000. Maybe it's going to be $6,500. $6,500, fantastic. When can you do this? You see where I'm going with this? So they get involved with people that aren't licensed in landscaping. They know how to take a tree out, they know how to mow a lawn, and they know those kinds of things, but they're not really versed on design work. They're not really versed on how drainage goes in, how irrigation goes in, how to form up and pour cement, and there's just some drawbacks there. And then halfway through the project, the guy tweaks his back. And all of a sudden, you know, he doesn't have any insurance, so he turns around and sues the homeowner for injuring themselves on the property. The job never gets finished. It becomes a, you know, litigious environment. And now where are you at? Now you're kind of stuck. So my suggestion is this. The best person to rely on is you, yourself. If you can't afford it, don't go getting a stranger to start in. You guys are smart people. There's nobody on this channel that I'm going to consider a dummy because you guys like to learn. I'm not really here. I'm not a super entertaining type of guy. So you're here to learn. You're here to pick up landscape information and education so that you can do things on your own to a certain degree. Well, now we're going to take that certain degree and I want you to bump it up, and I want you to get serious about it, because you could get one of those $12,000 landscapes and you're going to spend probably around $5,000 at the most. And that's if you hire somebody to finish the concrete for you. The rest of it you can put in. My second house that I had in Vallejo, California, I did the front and backyard for $5,200 myself. Now granted, I had a little bit of a skill set, but it worked. And the landscape contractor that I had him come out and bid on the job just for my own education was $14,500. Quite a savings, huh? And that was front and backyard with cement work done. Not only that, but if you get yourself educated, you, how do they say it in the religious world? If you gird your loins a little bit, realize what you're going to be facing as far as a little bit of hard work, you'll be able to get so much more out of your landscape dollar. You won't have just grass, a tree, and a small patio. Maybe you're going to have walkways, multiple trees, maybe a water feature. How about a dog run? How about a separate area for your raised vegetable garden to keep mama happy, and you have some fresh fruits and vegetables in the house during the growing season? These are the things you can attain when you do it yourself. So, like I have preached in so many other videos, where do you start? Where do you get up and, start taxiing down that landscape runway so that you can do it yourself? Guys, it's all boiled down to planning. It is. It's get yourself educated a little bit, and I do not mean sitting in a college classroom. I mean right here, and being able to take your landscape dollar and stretch that thing so you get some of those luxuries we just talked about. I firmly believe, I really do, as a passionate belief, that in every one of us, there's an amateur landscaper. There really is. Maybe you don't want to make a living at it, but with a smart, educated brain that you have, you can become an amateur landscaper temporarily. You're going to sweat your ass off. You're going to be sore. You may cut your hands. You may do all kinds of things, but so what? Life is hard in general. And I'll tell you what, from my own personal experience, doing it yourself at the end, you will place more value. You'll place 100 times more value on that landscape, especially when you have your little one or your puppy or something out playing on the new lawn that you put in, that you irrigated, that you brought the soil in, that you rototilled and you created, that you formed up that patio and those walkways. And maybe you had somebody come in and pour it for you. Kudos, even more smart. So think about becoming that amateur landscaper for that short period of time. You're gonna plan it out, you're gonna design it out. And where am I going with all this? Coach, where in the hell are you going with all this? Well, the time has come. The time has come for me to offer you the opportunity to get educated in this. Over the course of the past year, I've been working very hard creating an ebook for the ability for you guys to purchase, and I want to offer it to you. The ebook is called Yard Coach Presents Landscaping Simplified, and you can find it on our website. I'll put a link to the website below, okay? But in general, youryardcoach.com. And what it has is a boatload of information in there, over 80 pages of A to Z landscaping education. And we're not stopping there, because over the past year, we have also been putting together a wonderful, very intense, very immersive online landscape course. That's going to be called Homescape 1.0. And you can find that within a couple of weeks. And if you're super interested in that, then I invite you to go to the website and put in a couple of pre-orders for yourself and have it there, and we will let you know exactly when it's ready to go. Not only that, but the viewers of this channel is going to have the opportunity to save over 30% on the book and over 25% on the course on an initial purchase. Fantastic value. And if you compare those values to the cost of hiring a professional or the cost of going to a community college and sitting at a desk and learning landscape design and ornamental horticulture over the course of 2, 3, 4 semesters, this is what you're going to get in a very compact, very intense educational course online, where you can do it in your pajamas on Saturday morning. You can do it when you're sitting there reading while the kids are playing Little League ball out there at the field. You can sit there and read and bone up on your landscape education. Then you're going to find a magical transformation that happens. So the actual cost of the book, geez, $20 investment, okay? The course is going to be offered at $450 to start with, and then once the initial introductory offer is over with, it goes up to $597. So now's the time to act. Now's the time to get on board. And with that small amount, a micro fraction of what it would cost to have a consultant come in or a designer come in, I am going to teach you how to do it yourself, right at your kitchen table without any problem at all. It's not going to be a supercomputer graphic artist type of stuff that I used to crank out. It's going to be something that you understand. And you're going to find a huge solidification when you start doing your own research, your own due diligence, your own designing. It is going to cement this yard in your head up here where you're going to be able to know. You're going to be able to go to a nursery and talk to somebody about it in a very educative manner. You're going to invite someone in that maybe you're going to tap into a professional for a little while, and you're going to be able to talk to them about exactly where things are going. I'm going to teach you how to lay out, construct, dig, trench, all of that stuff. So there's my sales pitch. But what we're talking about here today is saving you guys dollars. But don't go willy-nilly at it. Please don't go off on a weekend warrior tangent, and you'll hear a lot about weekend warrior stuff when you read the book or you take the course. If you are truly serious about doing this thing yourself, being able to save those thousands of dollars and put those thousands of dollars towards a wonderful family vacation, or start the college education fund, or put it towards another improvement in the house where you couldn't have done that if you ended up paying a professional. Check it out, youryardcoach.com. Hey, I'm Matt, and you can call me Coach. I will catch you next Friday, every Friday. Don't forget to check out the plan of the week. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos and educate yourself even deeper, and begin the process that you need to take in order to go down your landscape journey. I'll catch you guys next week. You guys take care. Bye-bye.